So you want to travel to Shanghai. I hear you. It's a great city. Why wouldn't you want to come here? But after you come here to the Bund, or visited East Nanjing Road walking street, or chillaxed in the former French concession, or maybe even gone a little ways out of town and gone to a local water town, what else is there to do? Well, that's where today's video comes into play. Because I tell you what, I've had it up to here, right here, with these fresh off the boat Laowai foreigners who come here on their 144-hour transit visa. They don't know what's going on, but they do know that they can watch other YouTube videos and they can go to the same places those people go and make essentially this exact same content. I'm really, really sick of it. I'm just, gosh darn it, YouTube, stop showing me these videos. So I've got one day in Shanghai, less than 24 hours actually, and I'm gonna use this time to show you exactly what I would do after I've seen those main tourist sites, where I would go, what I would eat, and how else you can actually enjoy Shanghai in a lot of very different, unique and special ways for you vloggers out there. Let's do something different. Let's change it up. Mix it up a little bit. Just as soon as I finished that introduction, this lady right here approached me. She is a scammer. Stick around to the end of this video to learn how to avoid this and other common scams while you are in Shanghai. And if you are desperate to meet a woman in Shanghai, you also find a little secret for that as well. It's 2024, so that means time for a little bit something new from me. I filmed this like a typical travel vlog, but let's be honest, the last thing that you need from me, or from YouTube in general, is that. So instead, what I'm going to try to do is be quick, direct, informative, and maybe even a little bit humorous while I take you around Shanghai in less than 24 hours. Shanghai has tons of great food, foods that are representative of cuisines from all across China and across the world even. There is nothing wrong with just randomly stopping by any restaurant of your choosing while you're walking around Shanghai, or even just eating some street food, some snacks, and then sharing it with your audience here on social media. But one thing that you should also be sure to do is make an effort to eat local Shanghai specialties. To that end, today I'm taking you to eat xiaolongbao, also known as tangbao or soup dumplings. This morning, I'm eating these dumplings in Nanshan. It's the name of a subway stop, but also a small region in Jiading district in suburban Shanghai, and it is home to the original xiaolongbao, at least according to legend. This is where they originated. There are tons of great xiaolongbao shops in Shanghai. I'll be honest, the dumplings in Nanshan are not necessarily my favorite, but the environment plus the history, the story, they make it worth a visit if you can find it. You can find the directions to this, the original xiaolongbao shop, in a link in the description. If you are nervous and you are scared because you do not know how to eat xiaolongbao, no worries, let me quickly teach you. These dumplings are traditionally filled with pork and they are steamed, which makes the contents piping hot. You are going to want to take a small bite into the skin, and the skin itself should be very, very thin, maybe even translucent. And then you're going to want to suck out the soup. If you are a Laowai and you have problems with your chopstick skills, of course you can also use a spoon and dump the soup into the spoon. If you just go ahead and take a big bite into the dumpling right away, you are liable to burn yourself, so do not do that. Pour out the soup, suck it out of a spoon, slurp it up through the small hole in the skin, whatever the case may be, but do not forget to dip your dumplings in vinegar if you really want to boost those savory, delicious flavors. Next, we're going to head to Hongkou district in northeast Shanghai. This is the most overlooked area of Shanghai in my opinion. I feel like it has some of the most incredible views of the city, as well as very distinct Shanghainese neighborhoods. And thankfully, it is not just a copy and paste global city with chain stores like Starbucks or KFC on every single corner. Of course, there are still plenty of Starbucks though, so don't you worry if you do need your Starbucks fix. In Hongkou, you can find tons to see. But today, what I'm showing you is the mind-blowing Art Deco M.C. Escher-esque incredible concrete structure, the 1933 Old Mill Fund building. 1933 is a former cattle slaughterhouse, but it is now a mixed-use commercial and office space, and it is far too often overlooked by visitors to the city, especially here on YouTube. I think if you're more creative and you're more interesting than me, you can make some pretty dope content here. But unfortunately, everybody just goes to the same damn sites every single time. Now from the outside, it really looks like nothing. But once you cross under the threshold, you've passed by the Starbucks, you're gonna find a truly unique space that doesn't feel like anywhere else you've ever been, let alone feel like China. Shanghai especially has so much more to offer than just the exotic and the weird and the things that make you feel like you're a conqueror, like you're an explorer, like you're Marco Polo, exotifying and orientalizing this place. It has so much more of a rich and unique history. It's international, it's progressive, and you can find fascinating remnants of this past everywhere throughout Shanghai as long as you open your eyes to it. Now, this is just one really cool example, and I highly recommend you come here to 1933 at any time throughout the year, but especially in the summer. Sure, it's going to be hot, you're going to be sweaty, but with the overhead summer sun, you're also going to have some really intense contrast, some deep shadows, and direct sunlight that will make your Instagram and your YouTube content really, really shine. And you don't get that kind of feeling in the dead of winter like right now when I'm filming this video. And now it is time to eat once again. This time, dumplings. Yes, dumplings again. Xiaoyang Shengjian. Xiaoyang Shengjian is a chain store, which means that you can find it easily no matter where you are in Shanghai. All you have to do is look for the distinctive pink sign, and sometimes it even has English on the sign, and that will say Yang's Dumplings. Shengjian Bao are similar in concept to the soup dumplings from earlier, but the main difference is how they are cooked. These little guys are pan-fried in a very thin layer of oil so that the bottom gets very crispy and browned and oily and delicious, but yet the top is still steamed. It's covered just like before with the xiaolongbao. So it's the best of both worlds. It's fried, it's steamed, it's still got soup in it, it's still got savory pork. Oh my gosh, these are the best, and they are best when they are fresh, which means you need to go there in the morning or at lunch. Go when the shop is crowded, and if you don't go when it's busy, they're going to be sitting around, they're going to dry out, the soup is going to get absorbed into the skin, and they're not going to be very good. So again, I insist, you go to Xiaoyang Shengjian when you find a busy one, most likely in the morning or lunchtime. And same concept as before, you bite the skin, you suck the soup, and you enjoy the hearty goodness of the pork and the breading, and oh my gosh, I love it. Dip it in vinegar, throw some red chili flakes on it, and it's so damn good, and I want to eat them right now. Okay, we spent half a day in Shanghai. Now, if you are enjoying this video, of course you need to like it, you need to subscribe, you need to ring a ding 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 dong, keep their heads ringing, ring the bell, all that good stuff, you know what to do. Next stop, still Hongkou District. Let's walk from 1933 to the North Bund. This is a really, really nice, very comfortable 15-minute walk. It will take you along the creek. It'll take you past these old buildings that unfortunately seem to be not long for this world. They may be disappearing soon, so come as quickly as you can to see old Shanghai while it still exists in Hongkou District here. And of course, you get some of the best views of Pudong and Lujiazui from anywhere in the city on this trek from 1933 to the North Bund. And now we have arrived at the North Bund. Just like the Bund, this is a riverside promenade with views towards Pudong. It is also a green space and a park, place where people can hang out, throw a frisbee around, have a cup of coffee, drink a bottle of wine. It is a beautiful, relaxing place with far fewer people than the Bund. And it's arguably got some more interesting views as well. From here, you can also see some really insane architecture that most people probably do not get a chance to see because they don't come here. Like this building here with these giant egg, flying saucer type shapes, suspended, dangling from this opening, connected by these crazy walkways. Again, it's like a real life MC Escher kind of drawing turned into a building. And speaking of giant eggs, we've also got these Chicago bean-like sculptures dotted around the North Bund Greenway, perfect for taking some cool photos with them and then pretending like you are in the Windy City. So tag Chicago in a post a few days later, and you're going to look like a world traveler, and you're going to get tons of internet clout. One day in Shanghai, one day in Chicago, you can't beat it. The next place I would have loved to take you, but I just didn't have time in my less than one day in Shanghai, is the West Bund. Again, not the Bund, but a great place on a spring day or a fall day or even a summer day. You know, winter, not quite as nice, a little bit too cold, but it's still pretty good. Anyway, the views from the West Bund aren't quite as nice, but it's really cool because there's tons of activities to do and lots of locals out hanging out, skateboarding, playing basketball, jogging, having picnics. You go there, you meet the locals, you have some fun, you do some bouldering, you visit a museum. It's great, and it's real Shanghainese local culture. Our second to last stop here on this day trip in Shanghai is actually across the river in Pudong. We visit Lujiazui. And no, we're not going here to see the Pearl Tower up close, or the Shanghai Tower, or the Jinmao Tower, or any other tower. No. We're going here because we are film buffs. We love a good movie, and we can walk in the very same steps as some of our favorite actors. Now see if you can guess what movie I'm talking about. It stars the girl from Marvel and Lost in Translation, Scarlett Johansson. And while I suppose she didn't necessarily actually physically walk here, because in the movie I'm talking about, she played ChatGPT, another actor from that film did walk here, and that was the Joker himself, Joaquin Phoenix. He shot quite a few scenes here on these elevated pathways. And as you can see, many of the film's fans still come here every day to take photos and video in homage to this classic. What movie am I talking about? Yes, I'm talking about her, Scarlett Johansson, Joaquin Phoenix, falls in love with a robot, one of the greatest films of all time. Watch it. And then when you're in Shanghai, walk it. So my day is coming to a close, and before I go pack up and head to the airport, let's turn the clock back to last night where I filmed this introduction. Before we get to the scammer, a few other things to note. While you are actually at the Bund, do not forget to head north to the Garden Bridge. More great views of the city and some of the beautifully lit Art Deco architecture that helps define Shanghai's uniqueness amongst Chinese cities. If you've got more time, you can walk along Suzhou Creek here and into the city. More great local neighborhoods that you can explore. Not really off the beaten path, but it is certainly more interesting than East Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street. And now, speaking of East Nanjing Road, the Bund, and maybe People Square as well, that leads us back to the scammer. Shanghai's most common scam is the tea house or the bar scam, in which a, let's say, moderately attractive woman with pretty good English ability will approach you, especially if you are a single male who looks like a foreigner, and they will try to get you to hang out with her. And she will insist that you visit a bar or a tea house of her choosing. And in the end, after you have a few drinks, a cup of tea, a beer, you're going to be stuck with a massive bill, and you're going to be surrounded by very burly men who will insist you pay that bill. This scam is most prevalent in those locations I just mentioned, but any tourist destination, you might run into these women who approach you. Pro tip, no normal woman in China will come and approach you and insist on taking you on a date. You are not that special, you are not that handsome, and Chinese women are generally not that forward. If you really want to go on a date with one of these women who approach you, you pick the place, you tell her where to go, and I promise that she will not come with you. That being said, if you really are very, very lonely, I have one more recommendation for your time in Shanghai. But before we get there, let's just give a general recommendation for everyone, and YouTubers included. Go visit a KTV. You're going to see signs for KTV everywhere, and they can be a lot of fun. You may even be invited into a KTV room with locals who will love to watch you sing. They're going to get drunk with you. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it will make some pretty exciting content, in my opinion. Okay, that's out of the way. If you really would like to see a KTV and have a date with a local at the same time and not get scammed, there are what I would say, I guess, like unsavory options for you. And I recommend, especially if you're like a big baller and you want to see what businessmen and let's say officials would choose, then you're going to want to go to Club Starlight or Xinghui. In this kind of club, you're going to find lots of girls that you can pick and choose from, and they can join you for a night of singing, drinking, and fun. Of course, I'm not recommending prostitution. Prostitution is illegal in China. I do not recommend you take any girl home with you from one of these KTVs. But if you just want to sing and drink with a girl or a group of girls who look like supermodels, it's going to be a better time and a better use of your money than heading to a tea house with a scammer from the street. And it might even be cheaper too, but that's debatable. So those are just some of the things that you can do in Shanghai. And it might make for some great stories and some unique videos for YouTube. And like I said, if I see one more video of a Laowai vlogger going to the same dang place as every other Laowai vlogger and doing the exact same things, I am liable to lose my dang mind. Thank you. Goodbye.